Okay, so let's start by creating a new Godot project, and we're going to create a new node, and let's call it test manager, and let's attach a new C# script. So let's create a new script folder and save it in here. Make sure it's just a new C# script and click create. So it's going to open a new Visual Studio Code, and the first thing we need to do is actually go to our test automation.cs project, and this is just an XML file that we're going to use to import our libraries. So we got actually 4 libraries we need to copy. So in the video description, I'm just going to actually show you what the libraries are. So 2 of them is actually just for NUnit testing, and the other 2 is going to be a Selenium WebDriver, and you can just click the restore button, just popped up. So click on restore. Just going to import it, and when it's finished, we are going to go back to our test manager.cs, and we're going to import our libraries. So we're going to write using so we're going to write open qa.selenium and write using openqa.selenium.from. Okay, so just one more thing that you need to do is actually download the Chrome driver. So in the video description, I actually added the download, so you can download the latest version. And after downloading it, just copy it to your Chrome folder, and just install it. So after, just paste it, click on it, and that's it. So we just imported our 2 libraries, and we can actually just delete these lines of code. Okay, so our first function is going to be, we're going to create a function to open a new web browser. So we first need 2 things. We're going to create a new string that's called test URL of the Google web page, and the second one is going to be our driver that we are going to use for this video. And then we're going to create a new function that is called start browser. Okay, so our first function, the start browser function, is just going to make a travel into Chrome driver and just maximize our window. Okay, so now we are going to create a new. Okay, so in this function, the first line of code is actually calling our previous function that we just created. The second line of code is java.url equal to our test URL that we created here in the string. So what it's doing is actually just setting the current URL displayed. So when it's going to open the new web browser, it's going to go to the Google page, then it's going to wait for 2 seconds, and we are going to create a new web element called search text. So a web element is, if you go to your web browser and you right click it and click inspect element, you will see all these different web elements. So if you click on this button over here, you can actually see all of the HTML and CSS language. So if, for example, you click on the search bar, it's going to show you the code that was written with it. So what we can do is actually just right click it, click on copy, and click copy full XPath. That way we can actually use this XPath to find the specific element using our script. So you also got a few more options to actually find this element. You can use class name, you can use ID, though I can see it over here, and you can use CSS select tool, and there are a few other options. So if we go back to our script and we create the new web element, we call it search text, and I actually use CSS selector to find this element and just paste it over here. So now what we can do is actually call this element dot send keys and actually send these keys inside it. So it's just going to copy the string and actually just paste it over here. Okay, so then we create a few more web elements. The next one is going to be the search button. So you can actually just again just find this search button, and again you can use a few different options. So for this one, actually use the XPath and just paste it over here, and after sending these keys, actually just press the search button. So search button dot click, and then it's going to send you into this web page. So what I did is actually just again click on this web element, and for this one actually use the class name, and again it's just going to click it, open it, and then again we're going to create a new web element called download page, and for this one I again use XPath and just click it. So it's just going to find this web element and going to click on the download page. Then it's going to wait for 6 seconds, and when it's finished it's going to print to the Godot console this string. So the last function we're going to call is actually close browser, which is just one line of code, and it's actually going to close our driver. So it's going to close all of our web browsers, and that's it. So in the ready function we can actually just call this function. So when this node enter the scene, it's going to run this function. Let's save it, go back to our Godot engine, let's save this node, just save it, and if we run it now, going to open a new browser. And as you can see, the test passed. Our code actually works. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more content. And I'll see you in the next video.